I never thought that the moment of my death would be the easiest moment of my life. But then everything that followed was worse than the diagnosis itself. Stage 4, pancreatic cancer. The doctor said it as if he had said it 1,000 times before. Clinically, coldly. As if my world wasn't falling apart around me. For a second, I just sat there in shock, trying to comprehend what 6 months really meant. How do you fit the rest of your life into one football season? My first thought was of Amanda, my wife, with whom I had spent 12 years, the love of my life, or so I thought. We had a modest but happy life, full of memories, weekends in the mountains, lazy Sundays on the porch, arguing about what to watch on Netflix. I thought we were happy. I thought we were strong. I was wrong. I didn't tell her right away. I hoped to get my thoughts together, maybe even secretly seek treatment. But I think more than anything, I just wanted to protect her. Or maybe I was just afraid to see her fall apart. Little did I know she had already emotionally checked out. And while I was drowning in fear, Amanda was ballroom dancing in the arms of another man. 3 weeks later, I sat her down and told her. She blinked, her face faded for a moment, and nothing. No tears, no breakup, no much-needed hug. She nodded and asked, "So what are we going to do?" I felt a coldness I hadn't known in all the years cancer had given me. Her gaze was fixed in the distance, and her embrace felt automatic. She became more distant when I refused. A string of sleepless nights followed. Work, drama with her sister, things to do, she said. But her scent had changed. She started using different perfume. She began hiding her phone and leaving the room when it rang. One night, I heard her whispering in the kitchen at 2 in the morning. I jumped out of bed and wandered over to her, where I saw her hurriedly hanging up the phone and pretending to make tea. My stomach twisted. My heart screamed the truth I didn't want to hear. I started paying more attention to her. I memorized her habits. On Thursdays, she always put on a little more makeup before leaving the house. She always hid text messages with a silly smile when she thought I wasn't looking. One night I was in the bathroom throwing up blood, and she was sitting in the living room giggling on the phone like a little girl. I didn't confront her yet. I needed proof. And then I got it. It was Saturday. She said she was going to book club. She said she'd bring me my favorite soup when she got back, but she left her iPad unlocked. I'd never looked before, but something inside me broke. I opened her Messenger app. There he was, Chris. "Can't wait to rock your shirt again, baby. When I'm working out, all I can think about is you. One day you'll be sitting in the stands cheering me on, my queen." I thought I'd close the app and throw the iPad across the room. The photos. God, the photos. Her face in her underwear, wearing his college t-shirt, sitting on his bed with an engagement ring on her finger. There were voice messages, too. He was laughing, mocking me. She said, "He's barely alive, Chris. We're practically free." I dropped the iPad, and it fell to the floor. I don't know if it was because of the cancer or because of my broken heart, but I even felt physical pain in my chest. I felt nauseous again, only this time it was bile and blood, but all I could taste was betrayal. Chris was a wide receiver at the university next door, had a full athletic scholarship, and was training for the NFL Combine. Tall, young, cocky, and now my wife's lover. Amanda was 35, he was 22, and apparently I was a dying obstacle in the way of their perfect little fantasy. For the next 2 days, I acted normal, pretending I knew nothing, but inside something was boiling, something darker. I had been weak for too long, letting death pull me down, but now I had a goal. Revenge was my chemotherapy. I turned to my contacts for help. I had connections from my days consulting for sports law firms, people in the media, agents, coaches. I also hired a private investigator, someone who wasn't too conspicuous, but was effective. Within a week, I started receiving high-quality photos of Amanda and Chris pulling into motels, going to the university gym late at night, kissing in a church parking lot. The private investigator also had audio recordings. Amanda called me a burden. Chris bragged about how he was entertaining his wife before the funeral. I put it all together. I managed to do it, even though it wasn't easy in my weakened state, and then I started making quiet decisions. Chris's coach? I knew him. Greg. We played football together in high school until I injured my knee. I contacted him and suggested we meet for coffee. When we met, I didn't bring up the affair right away. I wasn't so much avoiding the subject as asking about Chris. He spoke enthusiastically about him, saying he would be one of the best in the draft. I smiled and handed him the flash drive. "What's this?" "Your star receiver's report card," I whispered. He immediately plugged the flash drive into his laptop, and when he watched the videos, read the messages, and looked at the photos, his expression changed. "He slept with Amanda? Your Amanda?" "Since I told her I was dying." Greg leaned back in his chair and fell silent. "Imagine if the NFL scouts found out about this," I said. "Let's say the sponsors read a story about a promising young player who made a dying man's wife his mistress. Would he still be your golden boy?" Greg didn't answer, but the look on his face told me I had planted the seeds of doubt. Then the media showed up. Whispers here, leaks there, nothing directly related to me. But the rumors started to spread. "Possible character issues," they said. "Distracted from the game." His name was removed from the list. His agent called me in a rage. I remained calm and said that I was currently being sued for defamation and that if this information was made public, I would be destroyed. A few days later, he backed down. Amanda, meanwhile, was getting nervous. I began to feign a deterioration in her condition, confusion, loud coughing, scattered pills. She started leaving the house more often. Damn, she even spent the night at my place once, saying her car had broken down. She wasn't even there when I called for help after passing out on the bathroom floor. But I wasn't interested in her anymore. I was ready. When Chris's team arranged a closed screening for NFL scouts, I made sure my photos and recordings were anonymously sent to all the major teams. A neatly labeled package. The truth about Chris D. 48 hours later, 2 teams dropped him. His name was crossed off the draft lists. The school suspended him for violating the code of conduct. Amanda tried to text him that night. He didn't respond. She threw her phone against the wall. 2 days later, she confronted me. "You did this!" she screamed. "You ruined him!" Fragile but radiant, I looked at her. Number it was you. I just gave everyone the opportunity to see it up close. She burst into tears. She begged. She said she had made a mistake, that Chris was nothing, or that she was scared and lonely and didn't know how to cope with cancer. She knelt down and hugged my legs. I stood up. "I'm not dying anymore." She looked up. "What?" "I started treatment. Experimental, it's helping. Slowly, but it's something. Enough to give me time. Time to live. Time to get back everything you tried to steal from me." She went numb. I handed her the divorce papers, and this time you won't even get the money. "But the house. It was in my name before we got married. The savings. Already transferred. Protected by law." She tried to fight. She filed appeals. She hired lawyers. But the evidence of infidelity, emotional abuse, and neglect, and yes, cancer, was on my side. She got nothing. No alimony, no property. The court even ordered her to pay me a small amount after I proved that she had abandoned me medically. Chris disappeared. Last I heard, he was working at a sporting goods store in another state. No NFL, no fame, just long, long memories of how he had it all, and then lost it all because of a dying man. Amanda has since found a small, cramped apartment in the city center and works 2 jobs. Her friends have turned their backs on her. There has been no public sympathy for her. I'm still fighting. Every day is like rolling the dice, but I'm getting stronger. As a cancer survivor, I now volunteer to help other cancer patients. Not out of revenge, but for dignity. Because when the world tries to take away your control over your life, you have to take it back. I remember where I was, reading in bed, checking my phone, and when, at 3:30 p.m., I got the first message. I remember the rage, the helplessness. And then I remember that it was a turning point in my life. I was supposed to die in despair, but instead I saw them lose everything they dared to take from me. And in the end, it was the sweetest survival of all, the end.